Hey, this is Pankaj Kitchlu. I had the go-to-market for systems engineering in Indian SAARC for Juniper. Um, Let me talk about something what is exciting about Juniper and what are we cooking. I think Juniper in recent times has become a force to reckon with. There are some three clear items which I can articulate, and what are they about. I think last 2 decades it was majorly about looking at how to build a network. And the focus in service providers has always been on the coverage and the connectivity model. I think the times have changed. It's more about the content. Content has become the king. Suddenly the clouds, the digitization, the whole tsunami of data, moving from the voice to the data side of the networks is really good for Juniper, because we have been articulating this from last 2 decades. So here is a chance for Juniper to become one of the big boys in this industry. And let me talk about those three critical items. I think the first one is very critical, and that is removing the complexity and getting the simple delivery model from the user to the content providers. I think that is huge. Let me pause here, because it's not easy to connect the right user with the right content. I think there is a lot of policy-driven infrastructure. There is a lot of policy-driven edge. There's a lot of mobile edge computing which people will have to do. There's lots and lots of segregation of layers, and 5G already on the verge is already talking about network slicing. So I think the simplifying of network carrying all the services in a unified fashion is where Juniper is driving the mileage. I think that is the one biggest, I'll say cornerstone, where we want to simplify the complexity of the network and make sure the content and the user connectivity is done on the right quality of service, with the right latency characters, and with the right bandwidth scale. And that's the biggest one. I think the second one is visibility. And why I talk about visibility, because we used to connect IP boxes which used to be hundreds and thousands. Certainly there are hundreds and thousands. And you can imagine what happens if I have to connect hundreds of thousands, the human brain cannot process. And if I have to make a NOC center or an operation center, it becomes an unlimited capacity which I have to create, and that drives the cost. And the cost pressures in service providers are critical these times, when there is merger and acquisition and there is saturation, and people are trying to move from the voice to data. So there's a lot of transformations happening, and they are fast-paced. If they are fast-paced, I think Juniper is enabling that visibility to make the management decisions, and that visibility is critical. Let it be Contrail 2.0, let it be North Star, let it be FOMX, let it be the whole products, the marriage between the optics and the IP to simplify the layers. All these, I will say, glass planes are able to collect a lot of telemetry data, analyze it, and provide an intent-driven networking, which I call the future of the networks, which is available today, to create these cloud platforms. So Juniper is enabling the visibility and simplicity in building these cloud platforms, and that was my second point. And the third point, which is most critical, is how do you build these Lego blocks now? Okay, and there has to be third-party nature. You cannot have unique vendor lock-ins anymore. Let us talk about the photonics layer. We are the first ones to take the vendor lock-ins out. So you could basically have different products from the same vendor on the same line system, as well as different vendors talking to each other on the line system and photonics. And I think that's a brilliant innovation that Juniper has done. And that is critical. Building the Lego blocks, building the third-party envelope on the SD-WAN era, where you don't have to have Juniper VNFs like a security VNF or a router VNF. You could have third-party WAN-opt VNF from XYZ. You could have security firewall VNF from ABC, and you could finally have a router VNF from somebody else. And who is invisibly having that glue? That is Juniper. So the platform to drive that SD-WAN era for telcos to go to enterprise, and I was talking about earlier that enterprises will need these telco solutions to enable their futuristic use cases. And this Lego block, simplicity, visibility, and creation of these Lego blocks so that I can mold with the fast-paced changes in the network. Let it be about artificial intelligence, let it be about artificial augmented reality, and guys, these are not unreal, these are happening today. Are they happening in healthcare? Are they happening in manufacturing? Are they happening in business and financials? There are a lot of use cases. The network has to enable these use cases, and network is the only denominator which will connect this ready, flexible content to these users. So I'm very sure about the future for the next couple of decades, where Juniper will lead these innovations of making sure that we provide simple, visible, and Lego blocks to co-create the network of future, which can drive the 5G, IoT, or SD and NFV ambitions of service providers or enterprises. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.